Okay, in this video, what we're going to be talking about is the JSRs and the use of inputs and outputs. So there was a question that was asked, and this is strictly for the Patreon group. This will not be going on to YouTube or anything, because obviously this was requested by one of the patrons. So thank you for the idea of the topic, and we are about to get started. This is again in the regards to having or using inputs and outputs in a JSR. So what I did is I'm going to start from scratch. I just started. This will be an emulated file, emulated on version 28. So just to show that it just started. I haven't added anything. So what I am going to do is go ahead and add another routine, and we'll call this JSR input output. So we'll call that there, and let's put a little space right there. That way it is more apparent. Okay, so obviously we have to link from here to there, right? But what we want to do is we want to actually use this routine as our basically where we're going to pass the information in to get it back from. So this is going to be a very simple explanation or a simple illustration, but it will be something that will help you grasp the use of inputs and outputs. So first off, what we need to do is I'm going to make 3 sections. So I'm going to make and this will help you. Actually, let's just make 4, and we're going to throw we're gonna basically on each one of these we're going to trigger different points. So what I want to do is have product. Let's say product, and then in product we're going to have that as a dent. So I'm going to change that just so that I'm able to change it. Actually, let's do it like that. Let's do booleans instead of dents. That would be better. I like that better. So let's do product 1. Drag this down here. We'll use this product 2. So basically, you know, if you're just following along, all I'm doing is making a tag to say I'm going to load in different values, and then in the side over here I'm going to actually jump in and get my JSR. So of course you know that's in let's spread this out a little bit more. It's in program control. So you get your JSR right here. We're going to get a couple of them. So JSR, JSR, JSR. Okay, so we're going to actually use the one we created, which is the JSR input output. Again, that's just for illustration. You can name it whatever you want to name it. Just something to get some clarification that we are going there. The input parameter, basically what we're going to be doing at that point is we're just going to say instead of having a tag, I'll tell you what, we could have a tag, but let me just make this really simple first. Let's just have an input parameter 1, input parameter of for 2 for product 2, 3 for product 3, and 4 for product 4. This right here we'll go ahead and remove that. We'll remove all the ones we're not using. If you add one, you see they automatically pop up. So it's just a simple matter of coming in here and just removing them. It's not very complicated at all, but it is tedious. So this is just something that you have to do. So this would obviously be 4, and so we'll change that. Okay, so the return is what we'll say is active grade or active product So active product code. So basically we'll use this as like a recipe system. We'll just say that, hey, this is going to be the active product code. And we're going to use this, this is going to be a Boolean. We're going to keep it really, really simple. So we'll just say whatever, whatever it is, for the return value, right? The return value, you definitely want to, actually what we can do is make this a dent, and that would actually be better, so that we can actually decipher what product it is. Therefore, we'll stick with the parameters like this first. We'll come back and make a dent a little bit, because this is going to be a little bit drawn out. I want to make sure that it's very understood, and I want to make sure that everybody gets the best out they can, the best out of this training that they can. So this is, I'm sorry for it being going to run long, but it will run, course details and understanding, it will run long. So here we go. So this is just throwing in a raw value of 1, 2, 3, or 4. The product code tag that we're going to bring back does not have to line up with a product, or does not have to line up with a tag per se as far as what it's going to do. All it's going to do is actually line up, or actually all it's going to do is when you call it to return a value, it's going to return that value. So just so you know. Okay, so now we've got the jump to subroutines in place, right? So we're going to call that. What we're going to do here is add a couple lines of code. Basically all we're going to do is throw this in here like this. The first thing you need to do is get a basically a subroutine, and the input that you want to use, right? So as far as that goes, you can look at basically whatever you're bringing in, for that matter. In our case, let's look at that. So we're going to bring in the input parameter. We could call it whatever we want it to, and let's add an input parameter. We're going to call this product code, and we have to make that. So we're going to make that as basically it's going to be a dent as far as that goes. So we'll have that, and we'll delete this. Oh man, I didn't mean to do that. So let's go back and add that in. We're going to remove the. Okay, so the product code. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is illustrate that the input parameter that you're bringing in does not have to be a tag, but it most likely, in just about everybody's scenario that they're using and troubleshooting and seeing active in the field, is a tag. But I want to break it down to a very simple atmosphere to say that this can be a raw value. Just know that if you use a raw value, it's best to use the dent on this end to tell you what it is. In that case, what we're going to be doing, and behind this you would want to put like a no operation. So we'll change this to a no operation, just to as a placeholder, so that way basically this is the input parameter. So at this point we want to come out and do like an equal to. We'll do a couple of these equal to's. See, and one. Let's see. I don't know why it's not bringing it down, but it wasn't. So no big deal. We'll just drag it down. Yeah, they tend to get fussy sometimes. Okay, so product code, whatever the product code is, we got 4 of them, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to say, whatever it is going to be. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's going to go. This input is going to be loaded into this value, and then we're going to say if equal to 1, 2, 3, or 4, then we are going to index product code. So this is going to be a Boolean. So at this point, we'll just basically throw in a Boolean down here. And you know what we name this, you don't have to have this name. We can just say product code 2. You know, for that matter, we can say product code, product active. Let's say product 1 active. And for the sake of what we're doing, we'll copy and paste this. So we'll say product 2. All we're going to do is we'll copy paste, and all I'm going to do is change the tag. Right, so I'm going to make a new tag, paste. It just makes it a little bit easier when you're programming. Right, because I'm doing this from scratch. I want to make sure, for the sake of time, I don't waste too much time. But in the same token, I want to give you value, so we're doing that as well. So this is going to be everything that you need to have accept an input parameter and have the input parameter populate. And when it populates, it's going to trigger one of these on. Now, having a return. So speaking of a return value, we're going to add another row, and then we're going to come back up here to program control, right? Then we're going to have down here, we're going to add the return. The return parameter, again, does not have to line up with any known tag on the outside of this subroutine. It just has to know that it has a return, and the return data type, the type of the data that you're using, needs to match up. So if you recall, what we chose to use is we actually chose to use a dent or a bool. We used this one was a bool and this one was a dent. So we're going to need to change that. Okay, so this, if we're going to do that, let's just, and that was my mistake from the start, so let's go ahead and fix this. So we're going to copy, we're going to get rid of this, and then we're going to say add return parameter. We're going to paste that in there, and then we're just going to say product code, and then we're going to call it dent. Just to make it simple on everything we're doing, everything is a dent now. So all we want to do is produce back the correct value. So all we're going to say is, on this end, is we're going to say, we can paste again if you wanted to, if you wanted to use the same one. I would not use the same one. But we can just say product code running, and we'll keep that as a dent. Okay, so what we're going to do as far as that goes is to say this is the product code running. So in order to do that, we need to say we need to add another rung, and then basically to use a move. So come up top and use a move value. And we'll say, no, actually we'll have a couple of them. So we'll throw in a move here, we'll throw in a move here, and we'll throw in a move here. So let's copy this, copy, paste, let's see, paste, and paste. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to say, use a Boolean, and that is slow for some reason. So anyway, so we're going to throw in the Booleans down here, and then we're going to use product code running as the destination, and then we're basically going to use these tags up here. So we're basically this would be 3, this would be 4, and oh, I'm sorry, this would be 2. I'm thinking backwards. I'm working backwards, so I'm thinking forward. So so product 1. So this would be obviously product 1, product 2, product 3, and product 4. And when I said 3, I entered a 2. Okay, so now what happens if there is no product selected? So in that focus, you basically would want to say there's no product selected. So in that case, you would return a 0. So we need to add another portion to this. Okay, so drag that down, make that big, and copy this and say this, and this would be a 0. And we'll copy each one of these and just drag it down, paste, copy, paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. And we'll say each one of these, and this is a really simple scenario. So this can get as complex as you want it to get. I figured let's just make this simple. So the code is exactly what it shows. We're going to be entering in a value into the product code. This is a dent. So that dent will actually populate a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 0. Okay, so and we'll basically say excuse me, and we'll basically say if there's no product code there, then we're just going to produce back a 0 as the running code. So what we can do right now is actually, and I'll show you this too, is we'll do one more here, and we'll do a new operation. Actually, let's just show that as a move to show you that there will be data in this. So I'm going to put a 0 in that, but I'm going to also throw in an AFI in front of it so it does not work. What I want to do is show you that there will be data into this. So actually, let's put it up top, and let's put the 0 down below so that it's not confusing to anyone. And again, that's just showing that it's not going to work, right? So we'll just make it like that. That'd be good. Okay, so now what we want to do is do a little test, see if it works. Again, this will be the first time because I did this live. So let's just I like to do it off the cuff. I don't like to plan anything. I mean the only thing I planned as far as this goes is to show the input and outputs. And nothing really nothing other than that. So as far as that goes, that's where we're at. We're downloading now, and we're going to see how things run. Okay, so first and foremost, we want to throw our processor in run mode. Okay, so we have not, no matter what we do over here, we have not instructed this to fire or do anything yet, because obviously the subroutine is being called right here, right? So if I said product 1, then it would obviously highlight and feed product 1 into there and highlight right here and return back into my product code 1. Now if I chose to do product 2, then the same thing, product 2 would populate, right? So now product 2 is highlighted. Okay, so the code is very, very simple, not very complicated at all. You're passing a parameter. In this case, you're passing a raw value, a hard-coded value. This could be, and 90%, 99% of the time, is a tag. What I'm trying to illustrate here is that it does not have to be. And I'm just trying to show you that if you pass a value, no matter what, the tags don't have to line up. The data type of the tag needs to line up. So what I mean by that is let's take it a step further. Let's use the mighty notepad, and let's say in JSR parameter, and if my fingers were working, that would help. So parameters, the tags do not need to line up, and in 99% of cases they will not, unless the tag scope is program and not I don't know why I typed that, and not controller scope. Does that make sense? Okay, so meaning you can do it if you're using program tags, because you're still in the program, but if you're passing outside, you know you can do that. So 99% of the time you're going to see these tags not line up, and that's 100% fine. What does need to line up is the data type. Okay, so therefore, if a dent is the input, then the JSR or the subroutine needs to have a dent. The input. Same for the output. Bool to bool, or dent to dent, or real to real, or int to int, or cent to cent. So what are our data types? Oh man, I spelled, man, what is up with my fingers tonight? Anyway, so data types are let's go bool, dent, let's go int, cent, int, dent, real. Primary, these are your primary data types, right? So data types often used for this. But not limited to. Okay, so hopefully that clears up what I'm talking about a little bit. And like I said, using the notepad kind of helps. Did I spell something else wrong? Yeah, I did, didn't I? Goodness. Sorry. That's what I get for typing fast. Okay, so the point behind this is let's actually go through this code again. Very, very simple. Sorry about that. I had to get something to drink. Very, very simple. What we are doing is we're passing a raw value, a hard-coded value into the JSR over here, the subroutine input. We're putting that into a dent because basically you're changing the number scheme, basically just like a dent would, right? You're just going 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need to have something to it set 1, 2, 3, 4. We could have went cent, or we could have went int, or but dent is primarily the go-to use, so that's what I did. So getting the input back, or the output, I should say, the return parameter. The return parameter again is based upon a dent, and we did say that the return parameter should be a dent, right? Because I actually messed up when I first put that in. I did a bool here, and the rest of them were dents, so we just defaulted to a dent. Again, so let's say, and to see this even further, now it goes to 3, and now you're saying, okay, well, maybe it's stair-stepping. Let's just go back to 1. You see it goes right back to 1. Okay, so now let's jump to 4. Okay, so now it goes to 4. Okay, so that shows that. So now what we do if we want it to 0, because see how it's staying at 4? So even though I have the code to say if nothing's active, it will load in a 0. So what's basically going down, or what's happening here, is I'm not calling for the subroutine. So what I'm basically going to say is, if none of these are active, then what I want to do is, I'm going to change these, is if none of these are active, I'm going to do another subroutine and input. Let's just change this to a 1, and I'm going to do another JSR. Just copy and paste to make it easy. And then I'm going to throw in a 0. Okay, so obviously back down to here, remove parameter, and then that's all I'm going to do. So now it's a 0. So now if a 1 comes in, it's a 1. It's a 0. It's a 2. It's a 0. Now let's do 4. It's a 4. So this is really, really simple. Again, this is nothing complex whatsoever. Generally speaking, you have one subroutine with multiple inputs, multiple return values. All I'm trying to stress to you is, no matter what, if you have input, output, or return, then what you need to do right here is, on the subroutine side, it's going to have an input, if they're all used. Sometimes they make these and they don't use but 2 of them here. And then the return would have both the returns, right? So no matter how many you're using, we can do this again. We can actually make another, I can make another video and show you the primary source that people tend to use. It's not just as cut and dry as I'm laying it out here. I'm laying it out this cut and dry because I want to show you that the input parameter does not have to line up with the tag. The tag's names have no relevance whatsoever to what is happening on the other side of this. In the subroutine that you are calling, the tag has no relevance as far as the name at all. All it is primarily doing, and this is why the people tend to use these JSRs like this, because you can make one subroutine and feed it like 8 times and it do different things. It can do multiple things. Just because you're using it 8 different times, you can use it for 8 different devices. So therefore you can make one subroutine that's primarily for servos, or getting data for servos, or getting data for whatever you want to do, or recipes, and just cookie cutter it and just say, okay, well, whatever is going to work, or whatever's going to run is going to run. It's another way to modularly program something, in other words. But the main focus, what I'm trying to do with this video, is make sure you're aware that Whatever the input is, it does not matter as far as the data type is lined up perfectly. The return value are accepted perfectly. The return value, again, you want to line up the data types perfect and have them working. As far as that goes, other than that, you just want to make sure you're passing information like I did. You just want to make sure you're passing information. I mean, very, very simple code. Nothing really, I mean, it's just something to get the point across that you know how this works, right? And again, this is not being influenced because it's AFI. So no worries there, because you're getting your data here. Again, it's accepting the data I'm pushing in here. You see it's a value of 2. Then it's saying equal to 2. You're going to populate this. As soon as that's populated, it comes in, throws the hard-coded value into the running. The product running is the return value. The return value is a dent. It is populating the active product code. So hopefully that is very explained and detailed for you. And what we can do is, if I need to make another one, I can actually populate one JSR and actually do the same focus and give you multiple things going on in that subroutine that we're actually going to make. But in most cases, like I said, when you're seeing this in the field and you're seeing a lot of people using this, you're seeing multiple inputs, multiple returns. You just need to understand how that data is transmitted. And how that data is transmitted is just like I said here. So if you need to watch this video, you know, twice to get that, just make sure you understand that a tag does not need to line up with a tag. The data type needs to line up with the data type. That is strictly, that's the nuts and bolts to the whole thing. That's the shell of it. So it's very, very simple once you get that grasp and that understanding. And I would actually recommend that you try this yourself and run it. And if you try this yourself, like I said, it's very, very simple code to make. Try this yourself because you watch me make it, right? So try it and see what you think. You know, get it running, get your understanding. Because if you're like me, you need to do it before you really, really grasp it. And in order to do that, it's best just to go ahead and run through a very, very simple scenario. And then when you look at the more complex stuff, it just really makes everything tie together so much easier, and it focuses directly on that point. So again, I've let this video run on long enough, but it has been a very detailed video, and I wanted to make sure that the patron that asked the question got exactly what he wanted. And again, I'm making this patron members group very specific to meet the demands of my patrons. The people that support me, I just want to let you know I'm here to support you, and I'm very happy to do whatever I can to aid in your growth and our growth as a member group. You know, I'm trying to build this atmosphere as to best of I can to make this the go-to place. Also, what I want to note is if you need to find the way the patron is laid out, if you need to find a specific topic that you're curious about, there'll be tags that you can search. You know, you can search for like PID, you can search for, in this case, JSR. You can search for whatever you want to, and that tag should be there. And that's the way, it's like a tag-based system, so you should be able to pull up like a series. Like I have a series of videos coming out, one on PIDs, one on indirect addressing, all of that, the motion mastery stuff, all that you can actually get by searching that tag. So I just wanted to let you know that in case you did not already. But you should be getting notifications every time I make a video or post. Please let me know if you need anything. I don't mind at all. I like hearing from you guys, and I'm sure I just want to make sure that you're getting, everything that you possibly need out of this group. So again, I really, really appreciate your support, and I appreciate everything you do. So I may or may not throw this on YouTube. I want to give you guys the first glance at this, and I may or may not make a video, shorter video for this on YouTube. Obviously, this is going to be a longer video. I just wanted to give, and I don't brand these videos on the Patreon, so I just give you straight the video. So I want to make sure that you guys get exactly what you need before I do anything on YouTube whatsoever. And honestly, you know, with you being the supporters, you need to get whatever you're requesting. So thank you again for you know, being part of this. And if you have any suggestions or you know, interest, please let me know. I'd be glad to see if I can't, you know, put something together for you. Thank you again, and hope everybody's having a great weekend.